What a spectacular day in Bloomington, Minnesota at Metropolitan Stadium, which is packed for the contest between the 4-1 Dallas Cowboys and the 3-2 Minnesota Vikings, led by Tommy Kramer, the youngster from Rice. Bud Grant, the head coach on the Minnesota bench, looking on at the moment, and Tom Landry in front of the Dallas bench. And good afternoon. I'm Pat Summerall with Tom Brookshire. I can't remember a better day than we've had up here than this one is going to turn out to be.
And you know, Bud Grant has a funny philosophy. It's a new one, a new team without Fran Tarkenton to get the ball control passing. And he said he doesn't believe there are any more super powers in pro football, meaning that any team can be knocked off on that certain Sunday. And I would imagine that's the best way to face Dallas today for the Vikes.
If there is a super team, I guess Dallas might fit into that category. Raphael Septien will kick off for the Cowboys, as we're about set to start this contest, a rather unique series. Here are the game officials: Chuck Heberling, the umpires Ed Fiffick, Ray Jodez, the head linesman, Bruce Alford, Paul Batts, Dave Perry, and Bill Stanley, the rest of the group.
By the way, this is natural grass. This is regular old stuff just like you have in your front yard, hopefully.
They've done a super job sodding the baseball infield as Jimmy Edwards is deep for Minnesota. A high, good kick by Septien, puts him back at the goal line. Edwards with the ball. Edwards with some running room, and Edwards just tripped up at the last minute. He almost broke it. It was Guy Brown who tripped him up, the backup Dallas linebacker, but a good return for Minnesota.
He's only 5'8", 185 pounds. From northeast Louisiana, and he wears high tops. And I can't remember the last player in this league who was wearing high tops, but Edwards is flying in them. Look at this run.
Last one I remember was the center who just retired from up here, Mick Tingelhoff.
Maybe they're Mick's old shoes. Look at this.
No, he didn't move them that fast. Chuck Foreman starting in the backfield along with Ricky Young as Tommy Kramer goes right to work, or tries to in the air. Ricky Young's reception. Just barely took it away from D.D. Lewis, who finally ran it down. Here is the offensive line for Minnesota.
Very strong. Riley, his neck's all right. Goodrum, Swilly at center there in place of Tingelhoff, doing an excellent job. Hamilton, Ron Yeri, and of course Bob Tucker, the former Giant, at tight end.
And the backs, quarterback Tommy Kramer, Ricky Young and Chuck Foreman, the runners. Wide receivers, very good ones, Ahmad Rashad and Sammy White. 2nd and 2 situation.
He used both backs coming out of the backfield that time, huh?
Shy of midfield, first down Foreman in Dallas territory. This has been one of the problems that the Cowboys have had this year. They get off to a slow start. The other team seems to break on top. There's their defensive line.
Larry Cole, Dave Stalls, the young men on that left side. Randy White, Harvey Martin, 2 off rows, but they're having to face double blocks a lot.
The linebackers, Henderson, Bruning, and Lewis, all mobile and good. Secondary.
Barnes played the left corner, but he still has trouble with that ankle, the calcium deposits. Kyle at the other corner, and of course Hughes in for Charlie Waters, and they still miss him.
It is 1st and 10 at the Dallas 46 for Minnesota. Tommy Kramer, straight back, throwing on first down. Both times so far. Intended for Sammy White, the good coverage by Aaron Kyle.
Kramer is 6'2", 200 pounds, out of Rice. He only threw 77 passes before Fran decided to call it a career. And he's not quite the sprint-out man that Tarkenton was. He might have a little stronger throwing arm, perhaps deep. I'm sure he does. But Bud Grant thinks this young guy's a winner, and he's going to stick with it.
He has a very quick release. And when you ask him how strong Kramer's arm is, he says it's strong enough. 2nd and changes. Cowboys in their flex defense now as they shift around. Put the 2 tackles off the line of scrimmage this time, and Foreman goes straight ahead in that area. Thomas Henderson, the first man to make contact with Foreman. 4th quarter score, New England 21, Detroit 17. The Lions had been leading 17-14.
That last play is one that's becoming very popular, and I think Seattle showed the entire country this. It's called a quick draw, to where you take it back to that deep back, and if it's somebody like Foreman, he just picks the hole wherever he wants to go. Here it is, the man in motion gets the man through the backfield. Look at this now. Foreman picks up a good block by Swilly, and gets about 4.5 yards.
So we'll make it 3rd and 5.5. Kramer straight back, both backs out. Thrown high, intended for Chuck Foreman, but too high as Cliff Harris made contact I beg your pardon, it was Ricky Young, the intended receiver, circling out of the backfield.
Little hurry up by Tom Landry's rookie Thornton, number 77. He put the very fast move on Kramer and made him hang it up a little high.
There is the dapper Dallas coach. There was Tom Landry.
3-1 Steve Wilson, deep for Dallas.
Greg Coleman, number 8. The punt. The high Sparrow. Bouncing, and out of bounds. Taken out of bounds by the Vikings, number 35, Robert Miller, but a fine punt by Coleman. Wilson was the deep receiver for Dallas, by the way. 0-0 as the Cowboys will operate after that 36-yard punt from their own 6. The Los Angeles Lakers, San Diego Clippers, Magic Johnson. Watch him in his professional debut against the San Diego Clippers, hopefully led by Bill Walton. There are some reports that he might not be able to make it, injured again. Billy Joe Dupree looked to be in motion as he started upfield before the Dallas Cowboys snapped the ball. Robert Newhouse, the ball carrier. I'd like to welcome those of you who watched the Atlanta Falcons beat Green Bay 25-7.
Very large win indeed. Now Atlanta goes against Oakland, and looks like there'll be a lot of teams still in the chase.
Atlanta's record now is 3-3.
Yep.
So big win for the Falcons. We're in Metropolitan Stadium in Bloomington, Minnesota, for the match between the 3-2 Minnesota Vikings and the 4-1 Dallas Cowboys. Pat Summerall with Tom Brookshire. Opening moments of the first quarter, the first offensive series for Dallas.
Dallas showed Minnesota 57 different formations the last time these two teams met.
Offsetting penalties, I'm sorry, Tom, on that last series of downs. This time Dorsett comes in motion. Strawback gives this time to Scott Laidlaw, who breaks for good yardage. Out past the 15, almost enough for a first down. It might be Mark Mullaney on the tackle.
Good wrinkle, the man in motion being Dorsett. He's got to make some things happen. Again, it's the quick draw out of that I series where the fullback, the upback, or the only remaining back in this case, can just pick his hole. And again, if it's a young defense, and that's what the Vikings now have, they might over-pursue a little bit. Let's see who overruns it. Seaman gets cut off. Good block by Fitzgerald before he spins out.
And good running by Scott Laidlaw. By the way, as they measure for the first down, not quite enough. Dallas is shuffling fullbacks today, and that's the way they're getting the plays in from Tom Landry to Roger Staubach. So Laidlaw and Newhouse will alternate. Newhouse started, so it'll be, for the most part, Newhouse on first down and third down, and Laidlaw on second.
Big Cosby just came in, too, so we got the double tight end situation.
Really, 3 tight ends. Jay Salvi is also in, so it's Dupree, Cosby, and Salvi, all in the game. Newhouse and Dorsett, the runners. Newhouse straight back of Staubach at the moment. But Dorsett gets the carry, and he will have the first down and more. And Dorsett breaks out of the pack all the way out to the 35. They said he was just starting to come on, and he gave you a good example. Tommy Hannon on the tackle.
Good tackle by Hannon. I believe Dorsett was going to step and go. Now, he's limping a little bit as he goes off. Again, he had the broken toe, that hairline fracture. Maybe he's re-hurt it. He doesn't say he likes natural grass like artificial, but I'll be darned if I can see him slowing down. He's a blur on our replay. Good play by Hannon. Young safety man from Michigan can hit.
Dorsett is out, Tommy, and Ron Springs is in, along with Laidlaw.
The rookie from Ohio State, that's Springs.
And that's Laidlaw banging straight ahead for 3 or 4, stopped by James Duck White.
Pretty good looking early drive by Dallas, considering you take the ball over deep in your own territory after the Coleman punt.
They started at their own 6. Here's Tony Dorsett being looked at. He did limp back to the huddle just a bit.
How about that crazy stat that in the games where he's carried the ball over 20 times, the Cowboys have won 11 of 12 football.
That's pretty impressive. I believe I'd studied that if I were the head coach and study it carefully. Pittsburgh 7, Cleveland nothing, first quarter. Here is Ron Springs, the rookie. Cuts back inside and gets good yardage. Springs put his head down and pulled.
First rookie, I guess, it started for Tom Landry in years and years. He started that opening game against St. Louis.
The last one to start in that position was Calvin Hill. So it has been a while.
Pretty good country running back, right? Here's the defense. Jeff Seaman in there. see McNeil and company. And remember, these linebackers for the Vikings, even though they're behind a young defensive line, the linebackers are excellent, and they know what they're talking about.
It'll be 3rd and 3. It looks like just above Tony Dorsett's right knee. That's the problem. Maybe he took a lick there. It doesn't look like it's the knee joint itself, and that's encouraging. Here's Springs, first down and more. Ron Springs breaking tackle. Inside Minnesota territory all the way to their 42. Paul Krause had to make the tackle, the free safety.
Again, it's almost a delay. And what you do if you get people that overread, watch the delay. Now watch Roger take it all the way back. A little sidestep by number 20. Now he comes out and picks the hole wherever it turns up. Sutherland had a pretty good shot, the defensive tackle, and Springs just high-stepped away from him. And you'll notice he does keep his knees high. He's sort of a classical running back, the way he high-steps.
Haven't had a chance yet to set the Dallas offensive line. We'll do that in just a minute. They've been moving the ball so well, so quickly. We haven't had that time. Springs goes deep in the I formation behind Newhouse this time as Drew Pearson starts in motion. Newhouse gets the carry, and Newhouse lunging backwards for about 5.
Offensively, that's Donovan at left tackle, Herbert Scott, Fitzgerald, Rafferty, and Jim Cooper, who's doing an outstanding job at right tackle, the young man from Temple. And that's the quarterback, number 12. I think that's rather obvious by now.
Word on Dorsett was that his right knee was bruised, but he's back in the game now, along with Laidlaw. Raphael Septien in his little house over on the Dallas sideline.
Dorsett had 81 yards in the first quarter a week ago. Said he was thinking about a 300-yard rushing thing.
He goes in motion now, not limping. Staubach's first pass. For Dorsett, knocked loose. That'll be called incomplete. Hit by Matt Blair, fine linebacker for the Minnesota Vikings.
Pretty cute little throw this time. Put number 33 in motion and see if the whole world goes crazy. Now he'll just go inside, turn up. He's a safety valve. Roger looked downfield. Everybody was covered, and he just sort of slipped it off to him. And the one problem that Dorsett has is holding on to that thing.
Just looking at the scoreboard, they got our names up there. Welcome, Summerall and Brookshire, and the CBS TV broadcast crew. Merrill Swanson, who does such a fine job for the Vikings, said he hates to see us come to town because our names don't fit on the scoreboard.
They have to hyphenate them a lot, don't they?
From the shotgun. Staubach fires outside, caught by Butch Johnson, who just came back. The inbounds. Nate Wright, the tackler.
And early in the year, Roger was having to carry the team with those 200-yard passing days. Now that's over with the rushing game back. Good protection that time. Fitzgerald and Rafferty really set up. An excellent throw on the sidelines, and the leaning tower gets it. What a great play.
Good job by Butch Johnson to keep those feet down in bounds. Watch this.
He was reintroducing himself to everybody. He came over and said, "Hi, I'm Butch Johnson." I said, "I know, Butch. Nice to see you back."
And out with a broken finger. He had a spectacular training camp. He's got 3 fine wide receivers, Dallas does. Roger Staubach with the first down. And Robert Newhouse runs into a lot of Vikings right in the middle. This telecast is presented by authority of the National Football League. It's intended for the private use of our audience. Any rebroadcast or other use of this telecast without the express written consent of the Minnesota Vikings and the National Football League is prohibited.
Well, Landry's team is doing exactly what they like to do. They lead the league in possession time, 34 minutes of the game. The ball is in the Dallas hands, and it's very hard to score against them if you don't have the bladder, you know.
1 yard for Newhouse on that carry. 2nd and 9 at the Minnesota 24. Staubach to Dorsett. Dorsett carries the whole left side of the Minnesota defense for about 6 yards. James White made the initial contact. The rookie from Illinois.
Well, he has a lot of pizzazz. He's going to be in a Dallas uniform apparently for a long time. He's an emotional player, you know, a great young pass rusher.
Bruce Thornton. It's 3rd and 2. 7 for Dorsett on the last carry. As Laidlaw brings the play into Roger Staubach.
The backs get in with that play a little earlier than the old guards used to. I guess that's a pretty good idea to have the backs sprinting out there with it, huh?
They like it, or at least Laidlaw said he does. Gives him a chance to get in the game, number 1. And number 2, it gives him a chance to get a little bit warmed up. Then it gets the message to Roger a little bit more quickly. Fake to Laidlaw. He lofts out of bounds. Intentional. Tony Dorsett, the intended receiver, New Orleans, on a 3-yard run by Tony Galbraith, leads the Rams. big game for them, too. They can tie the Rams for first place if they can hang on to that.
Inside the 40, Raphael Septien is 5 of 6. He does have a 51-yarder this year, and on the natural grass, any advantage or disadvantage for a sidewinder?
A little bit of a disadvantage. The ball doesn't sit up quite as well as it does on that artificial turf. Danny White, the holder. It'll be from 34 yards out. He lines it good. Raphael Septien, good, and he had a lot left, too. So, with 6 minutes, 46 seconds left in the first quarter, field goal by Raphael Septien puts Dallas ahead 3-0.
For the Cowboys.
The story of that Dallas drive, which was a very handsome one.
5:56 on the clock. That's time you don't have to play with the ball if you're in purple.
Raphael Septien kicking off in the direction. Edwards lets it bounce into, and it goes out of the corner of the end zone. But it got in, and they'll bring it back to the 20, where the Vikings will take over 1st and 10. Over on the Dallas bench right now, things are pretty calm and pretty happy.
Everybody usually packs up long-handled underwear coming up here, but this is one of the most beautiful football days you'll see anywhere in the country, huh?
61 degrees, very little wind.
Natural grass and a young quarterback from Rice.
Both benches on the same side of the field. The only place in the NFL that exists.
Let's take a look and see, as in that first drive, if the young man tries to use his backs coming out of the backfield more than he has in the first 5 games, at least of the season.
Tommy Kramer from Rice, where he had a spectacular career. Gives to Chuck Foreman, and Foreman is down in the arms of Bob Brunig and D.D. Lewis, the 2 linebackers.
Brunig was in on 12 tackles, 8 solo a week ago against Cincinnati. And this man just came into camp a little bit heavy. In fact, Patrick, he looks very chubby, to be honest, Foreman.
He came in about 220, or perhaps a little bit more than that. Now has got it down to about 215. But in previous years, he was played just around 200.
Shouldn't he have gone on the Scarsdale diet or the Minute Bloomington diet or some darn thing?
Something.
They serve good food around here.
Tommy Kramer with the ball on the 16, 2nd and 14. Straight back is Kramer. Chased by Harvey Martin, got away from him. Now chased by Larry Cole, Sammy White. Pass interference is going to be called against Aaron Kyle. He backed into him. He did not mean to do it, but there was very little he could do about it.
Sammy White is the young, smooth runner. He caught 6 passes the last week against Detroit. Rashad gets a lot of double coverage. You better keep Sammy under control at all time. A great play by Kramer.
Harvey Martin.
Pass interference. Deep. Number 25. First down.
Aaron Kyle could do about that. The ball is underthrown just a little bit, and Sammy White started to come back.
Here's Harvey Martin now. Again, he's trying to pick up where he and Randy White, you can see, left off a couple of years ago. Good spin out by Kramer, and it's lofted. Now let's see the contact. Yeah. Kyle sort of hit him with the right elbow as he turned into the ball.
Steve Riley that was trying to contain Harvey Martin. That's Ricky Young, the ball carrier. D.D. Lewis, the tackler. 5:40 left in the first quarter. The Cowboys lead it 3-0.
And the reason the people are not seeing young Teddy Brown is that he has a tender knee. He got nicked against Detroit a week ago. He's quite a young back.
It'll be 2nd and 8 as the New England Patriots continue to lead Detroit 24-17. 2nd and 8. The line of scrimmage is the Dallas 49.
Pat, throughout the afternoon, we'll watch Ricky Young, too. He's a great blocking fullback in there alongside Foreman.
Motion is Bob Tucker, the tight end. Again, both backs out. Penalty flag is down as Ricky Young makes the reception. Lunges down near a first down. Bob Brunig, the tackler, along with D.D. Lewis again.
Ricky Young caught 88 balls a year ago. He's not quite catching the ball as much with young Kramer that much. Let's watch it now. He just circles out of the backfield. Both backs are out. Penalty sounds like it's against Dallas. Pretty good recovery by Brunig. It's a little short, isn't it?
A little bit. It will appear to be. By the way, we were talking about Tarkenton, and we have mentioned him a number of times. Houston leading St. Louis 14-10 in the 4th quarter. They're going to retire Francis Number at the halftime. The first Viking number that's ever been retired.
I tell you, that's such an active number. I don't know if you can get it into a box that way. It may jump back out. It was number 10, wasn't it?
It was number 10.
It'll always be number 10 around here then, right? That's great.
First and only.
The Different team, though. He used to have ball control with the short passes, the little sprint.
Offside. Defense lined up offside. Number 63 refused. Third down.
Larry Cole lined up offside. The words of the referee Chuck Heberling. Pittsburgh now 14-0 over Cleveland in the first quarter. Two touchdown passes by Terry Bradshaw. Third and short. The Dallas 42. Foreman. Looks like the likely ball carrier. It is. He goes up over the top. I don't know if he got it or not.
Foreman used to get all the way over the other side. That time, on that dive, he might have gotten about a 9-2.
He got enough. The indication tells us.
They'll tell you that Dallas is not tough physically, but when you try to really push it down their throat, they can get a little nasty. Watch the action on the line of scrimmage. You go up and over. It's Brunigas meeting Foreman right on top. He made it by inches.
I don't know how you could play for Ernie Stotner, the Dallas defensive line coach, and not be tough.
He wanted something? Yeah, he wanted quickness against the large offensive line for Minnesota.
He did not get it. Cowboy defensive unit very upset about the measurement for some reason, but they do indicate he did not get it. Let's look at it. Here's the play again.
Here's the play before, and obviously at this juncture, your offensive team has to go for it if it's 2 or 3 inches. There it is, right up over the top. That's Brunig making the contact. He's made 2 big tackles already in this game.
Same formation for Minnesota. Bob Tucker is lined up as a flanker, a near flanker on the right side. Same play. Over the top, and this time the indication would be, I believe, that he did get it. Guy Brown made the first contact that time.
Boy, I don't know. It looked to me like he was wading in water about hip deep. Let's see how much forward motion you think number 44 gets. That's 34. It gets most of that. I believe it was Brunig again that was really had shoulders on the thigh guard. That's a good tackle again.
Measure again.
Guy Brown was making the tackle.
He just barely got it. Just barely.
You saw by how much.
He's got to be forward of the stakes just by the tip of the ball.
Just spun up in there and danced outside and might have turned that into a long gainer.
Greg Landry, to Reese McCall, a touchdown pass of 17 yards as Baltimore leads the New York Jets 7-0. The 41-yard line of Dallas. Sammy White started in motion. Ricky Young, the ball carrier for 2 or 3, not much more. D.D. Lewis made the tackle.
A lot of people think you can run straight at the flex defense, especially on first down, and do decently and not run wide. So actually, Kramer has the right backfield going for him. Ricky Young and Foreman inside, and a pretty good trap blocking offensive line that's big. Johnny Michaels thinks this young line is going to be as good offensive line as he's ever had up here.
3-yard pickup. 2nd and 7. 3 minutes, 45 seconds make it left in the first quarter. Cowboys lead 3-0. Kramer, Harvey Martin is behind him. The pass caught. And what a catch by Sammy White. Cliff Harris protesting that he's out of bounds, but what a catch from Sammy White.
The other receiver, right? Ahmad Rashad gets a lot of publicity, and he deserves it. But this young man can really go. Watch how smoothly he keeps his eyes on the ball. And this is an incredible catch. That is a good catch. Good pass protection. Let's see what happens on the left side where White and Martin might come. Looked like somebody might have fallen down there on the...
Benny Barnes.
It's a great grab by Sammy White, his 14th catch of the year.
And a good move before he makes the catch. First down at the 20-yard line of Dallas for Minnesota. Kramer throws outside of Young. D.D. Lewis right there with him.
You know who Ricky Young used to play in front of? Walter Payton. He was the blocker for Walter.
Walter carried the ball, 39 times today as the Bears beat Buffalo 7-0.
He had 155 yards rushing, somebody said.
51-yard field goal by Tony Frisch puts Houston ahead of St. Louis now 17-10. Bud Grant looking on.
2nd and 6 for the Vikings.
2nd and 6.
Good looking drive by Minnesota.
Kramer is 4 out of 6 for 37 yards. He sends Sammy White in motion this time. He'll throw back across the field and does, and open. There's Ahmad Rashad, and a good throw by Kramer. First down.
And what a pattern by Rashad. He came all the way inside and then rolled back outside. Now watch the action. This looks a little bit like number 10, doesn't it? A little spread out. The shorter strokes with those feet. He sort of shortened that stride. Now Kramer throws back. And now Rashad is starting away from Brunig and right into Dede Lewis. Good tackle by Dede, but an excellent offensive play.
What a year he's having. Ahmad Rashad, that's the career that he's going to add to it this year. Tommy Kramer has it first and goal on the 6th of Minnesota. Dallas leading now 3-0. The Vikings moving in. Ricky Young to about the 2, maybe more. Thomas Henderson on the tackle.
This time Ricky Young got right in behind Swilly and Hamilton, the big guard, and Ron Yary. And it opened up a little bit in the middle of that 4-man defensive front. He just slid in behind it. You're right behind Foreman as the fullback goes through. Pretty good-looking offensive line of scrimmage that the Vikes have today.
We talked a little bit earlier about what a good-looking drive Dallas put together. This one looks good, too. Tommy Kramer, first and goal, the line of scrimmage at the 2. Foreman, the fullback, Young, the halfback. The fake from Kramer. Bob Tucker wide open. Nobody else even in the picture. Touchdown, Minnesota Vikings.
And Kramer really took it easy on that. The young quarterback might have overplayed it. Watch how calmly he loads it up, cleans it off, and waits for the tight end coming across. You can't drop that one.
Hard. Threw it perfectly. Bob Tucker, 80 yards, 11 plays they went. New England beat Detroit 24-17. Rick Danmeyer adds the extra point for the Vikings. They now lead 7-3. We have 2 minutes left in the first quarter. Good-looking drive from Minnesota.
You look.
Rick Danmeyer will kick off. Deep for Dallas, Steve Wilson and Ron Springs. Those of you who watched New England defeat Detroit, welcome to our broadcast.
Look at that time of possession by that Minnesota drive.
There have been 2 long drives. One by Dallas, one by Minnesota. We're at Metropolitan Stadium in Bloomington, Minnesota. And Steve Wilson is the ball carrier. He's out to about the 25. Score here is 7-3 Minnesota with 1 minute 52 seconds left in the first quarter.
Hey.
Tonight on CBS, 60 Minutes, Archie Bunker's Place, one day at a time. Alice, the Jeffersons.
Trapper John, M.D., Archie Bunker's Place. We've been in a few places that look like Archie Bunker's Place.
I think I saw Archie there.
We left him in good shape, right?
It's a nice place.
By the way, that field goal by Dallas, the first point scored all year in the first quarter against the Minnesota defense.
Line of scrimmage, the 26-yard line of Dallas. 7-3 Minnesota lead. Dorsett and Newhouse, the backs behind Roger Staubach. The throw. Maybe. Going to run. Out of bounds after about 6 by Mark Mullaney.
Mullaney really gave him a shot. The big defensive end from Colorado State. The one thing a quarterback doesn't want to do is get some of these guys angry. Watch the top of your screen. You can see Cooper, 61, battling Mullaney. And now, there's Dave Roller going by. Now Rogers got to decide. Nobody's open. He almost tantalized himself into a problem. Here comes 77. Look out. Train comes through here on Tuesday, huh? Be careful.
Roger Staubach's counterpart over on the Minnesota bench. That's Tommy Kramer. 2nd and 4. Roger Staubach got 6 on that carry. Gives to Dorsett. Dorsett gets almost nothing. And he is run back by James White.
Duck White. The biggest problem Duck White has had is that number 72 there is that he replaced Alan Page, the big 260-pounder from Oklahoma State. You can see he gets a standoff on the line of scrimmage and makes an incredibly good play and keeps his feet. Look how he keeps that balance.
Just overpowered Pat Donovan.
Which is not easy to do.
I'll say. 3rd and 3, Cowboys. At their own 33. They trail by 4. 1 minute to go on the first quarter. Big back, both backs out. Billy Joe Dupree will have it up for the Dallas first down.
Tommy Hannon had good coverage. Again, it was not from the shotgun on 3rd and about 4. Straight drop back, excellent protection, and a big target that is really experienced. An excellent tight end. All right, here's some of that blocking up front. They ran a twist, a stunt. That's Dave Roller, tamed from Green Bay. You can see Cooper's in good shape on Mulaney. Pretty good offensive play.
7-3, the Minnesota Vikings over Dallas. At the moment, Pat Summerall with Tom Brookshire on 1st and 10. 20 seconds left first quarter. Dorsett in motion and Staubach brings the ball back to Scott Laidlaw, who picks his hole nicely. He is hit by, I believe, the offside linebacker, Scott Studwell, who is alternating most of the time, or much of the time, with Jeff Seaman.
Vikings once in a while have been slipping into a 3-4 front. Right now, Roger's going to find out, huh?
He'll find out going in the other direction. That's the end of the first quarter, with Minnesota leading Dallas 7-3.
Here with it.
By the way, we were talking a little bit earlier about the fact that Bill Walton, the San Diego Clippers, might not be able to play because of an injury. We've inquired a little bit further and found out from a San Diego source that it's a day-to-day proposition, and he might be able to play and he might not be able to play. But anyway, the NBA begins next week on CBS. 2nd and 7 in Minnesota. Dallas and Minnesota as Tony Dorsett cuts to the outside and is taken down by Jeff Seaman. A fine tackle.
Great tackle by the middle linebacker. Seaman's being pushed a lot by Studwell, the young guy from Illinois, but watch number 50 show up and make the tackle. You've seen the Vikings lose some Super Bowl games and all, but you never saw number 50 do anything but play pretty decent middle linebacker. Every day out. Good tackle.
Chuck Foreman, who for so many years up here performed so well, used to say he won't be back.
He's got the Dunlop's disease, hasn't he?
Second quarter, that score is still the same. New Orleans 7-0 over Los Angeles. 3rd and 5 here. From the shotgun, Staubach operates. Pressure from Roller, but they had a screen pass called at a good time. Dorsett at the Minnesota 40-yard line. More than enough for a Dallas first down. Tommy Hannon made the tackle.
Of course, everybody remembers the 91-yard Dorsett carry of a screen pass a year ago in the opener, but he can really change gears in the middle of a run. Here's Pittsburgh now, really laying it on Cleveland.
21-0 now. Franco Harris has just scored on a 71-yard run. That'll help your average.
From the shotgun. You see Rafferty and everybody releasing outside. Scott on the outside, good block. And great running by number 33, back to line.
And on first down, Staubach again gives to Dorsett with a blocker out in front, and Tony turns it on. Another Dallas first down before he's tackled by Paul Krause, but Krause just barely got him.
How about back-to-back screen passes? I don't know if what computer must have spit out information like that.
There's that final score, Chicago Bears over Buffalo. Walter Payton, as we mentioned before, carried the ball 39 times in that game. It was played in a hailstorm, by the way.
A hailstorm?
Right.
Today?
Buffalo? Who knows? 155 yards Payton gained, 39 carries.
Staubach is 4 of 6 for 51 yards. Looks like he's warming it up.
1st and 10 at the Minnesota 24. The Vikings lead 7-3. Again, Dorsett will get the call. Dropped it. I think he got it back. Maybe picked up a yard chasing that fumble.
When you're taking a jump shot, they say don't put it on the floor. He does dribble it a few times, doesn't he? Honor of Fran Tarkenton, who's here with us today.
We'll be having a visit with Francis in the 3rd quarter.
You know, Bud Grant says it's a fun young team he's coaching up here now. A different one than he's ever had before, and different people are seeking the leadership role and trying to be that.
Grant's expression never changes. They call him Mount Rushmore.
He's a good guy, though.
Yes. Quite an athlete. Played professional basketball and football. Fake is to Drew Pearson momentarily. Now another screen, this time to Laidlaw. Laidlaw, another Dallas first down about the 12-yard line before Matt Blair made the tackle. How about that? 3 screens out of the last 4 plays.
And you know how disciplined your team must be not to go downfield. The linemen are releasing. To the right, you'll see Rafferty now releasing. Fitzgerald out there. Now they stay just on that line of scrimmage and now go ahead and they're cut loose by the receiver. Usually yells block. Here is that from a close-up shot. Roger faking the end around, the reverse. 3 screens in a row. It's like Bobby Lane's football.
Dorsett lines up deep, just to the edge of your picture at the moment. Robert Newhouse is the ball carrier at the moment. And Newhouse all the way down to the Minnesota 5. James White made the tackle. We may not have another punt in this game, the way it's going right now.
And long drives, ones that errors usually wipe out. Newhouse is averaging, as you see, a little over 4. He did get his patella hurt in the opening game of the season. You know what the patella is?
Oh, I was afraid you were going to ask me that.
Oh, he's limping off again. That's the kneecap.
Maybe it's hurt again. Listening to a little music, perhaps. Scott Laidlaw is the other Dallas fullback, and then there is Larry Brinson. And this will be Dorsett cutting back and in for a touchdown. There's Tony Dorsett. Dorsett just put his head down, found his hole, and got in for 6.
Cincinnati people said Dorsett was almost breaking away on every play. Watch this, his first touchdown of the year. As we said before the game, Danny Reeves said, I think Dorsett is just coming out of training camp. What a threat that is to people.
That might not be too bad with this long season. If he can avoid another injury, watch this. See who got the key blocks.
Rafferty does a job. Fitzgerald's up there.
Herbert Scott, key block.
And Donovan, they say, is ready for all-pro status this year, the big left tackle.
I'll be surprised if he's not recognized at that. Danny White holding Raphael Septien. 74 yards, 11 plays for Dallas. They kept the ball 6 minutes, 25 seconds. Fans enjoying the sunshine, but not now enjoying the Minnesota lead anymore. Dallas ahead 10-7. There's that Dallas drive that they just finished, culminated by a 5-yard run by Dorsett. Raphael Septien kicks off. Jimmy Edwards should handle it and does at the 5. With a good wedge in front of it, Edwards almost broke the opening kickoff. And this is another good return out to the 30. Steve Wilson made the tackle. Let's watch the chief headhunter on the special teams, Bruce Huther, number 57.
He gets the award, doesn't he, week after week? Here he is. One of Ditka's darlings, they call him down in Dallas. And I'll tell you, you've got to play on this team for 2 or 3 years before you could even think about the starting lineup. It is roughhouse football. Hunter is on the move. Gets it off the play.
You've got to be a special kind of person to run down on the kick.
Oh, you do. Wacko.
In addition to the kicker also being mixed up in the Viking backfield. Somebody went the wrong way. I don't know if it's Foreman or Ricky Young, but finally Larry Cole leads the Dallas defense and taking him down, along with D.D. Lewis.
I think Foreman might have gone the wrong direction. You know what it did was foul up the defense, because Dallas is so sophisticated. They're reading what they should be seeing, and they couldn't believe that it would be the old crossbuck.
Well, it would mess up your keys a little bit, but
they did recover, though.
Yeah. Los Angeles is tied New Orleans 7-7. Second quarter score. Pittsburgh 27, Cleveland nothing. Another touchdown pass by Bradshaw. 2nd and 8. Bob Tucker in motion. Kramer with no backs in there. Overthrows Chuck Foreman. Bob Brunick on the coverage, so he had the matchup he wanted.
That was a great example of what's happened to Randy White and Harvey Martin this year. That time, the center, Swilly, and the offensive left guard, Goodrum, both doubled on Randy White. And White gets about 4 solo tackles a game, and he keeps beating on you, but they are really doubling on him, and that's very difficult, even for an all-pro.
Everybody does it now.
3rd and 8 for the Vikings at their 32.
So it'll be 3rd and 8 for the Vikings at their own 32. St. Louis has tied Houston. A touchdown for the Cardinals by Theodis Brown. Kramer under pressure. Flag is down, and so is Kramer.
And that big Thornton is around that pocket again on the pass rush.
Forget about the flag.
Larry Bethea on the bottom looks like he might have been hurt. Oh, we got a face mask?
No, I think they picked the flag up. Somebody dropped it inadvertently.
It's a dangerous thing to do.
Yes.
Here they're getting ready to punt.
Steve Wilson deep for Dallas. Greg Coleman slices it off the side of his foot. It goes out of bounds over in front of the Dallas bench. And the Cowboys will have it at pretty good position on the field. They still lead 10-7 with 9 minutes and 23 seconds left to play in the second quarter.
Looks like a nova from outer space, but that sunlight comes sort of cross field and is right in the eye of the quarterback if he's trying to throw it. And I've always wondered how the quarterbacks can load it up and throw accurately looking into that glare. I don't know.
Roger Staubach is the quarterback right now. 5 out of 7 he is. With lots of time, he fires out to Dorsett. Fred McNeil, another fine linebacker for Minnesota, made the tackle on Dorsett. Baltimore 10-0 over the New York Jets now.
Good tackle by McNeil. He's got bruised ribs. Had 2 sacks a week ago against Detroit. But you just don't get much of a chance to miss Dorsett. Kid arm tackling. Very little fabric to grab.
Make it 2nd and 11 for Dallas now. No shotgun. Running backs this time, Laidlaw and Dorsett. Scott in motion to the left. And Dorsett sort of drifts out to the right. There he is, and here come the blockers, and Dorsett gets behind him. Tony Dorsett got that wave of blockers coming out in front of him and cut behind him. Scott Studwell made the stop. Not enough for a Dallas first down.
The Vikings went with 3 down linemen that time with the extra linebacker in there. Notice the 3, and the 5 blockers will take care of these 3 people freelancing rather easily. It's not enough for a first. Boy, that Mulaney really chases the play, that defensive lineman. I tell you, by the end of the year, the Vikings will make it very interesting in this division.
10-7 Dallas. At Bloomington Stadium, Metropolitan Stadium in Bloomington, Minnesota. At Summerall with Tom Brookshire. Scott Laidlaw is hit in the hole at the line of scrimmage and really popped by Jeff Seaman. He got nothing. Danny White, who had such a good day punting last week, will enter the scene. It'll be 4th down.
Again, watch Seaman, number 50. As soon as the blocking started, the veteran really struck it in there. Watch number 50. The best way to make a guy play to his potential is to put a young linebacker behind him, and Studwell's been sort of pushing Jeff Seaman.
Jeff Seaman sort of pushed Scott Laidlaw. Danny White, number 11.
Laidlaw used to be about 6 foot tall. Now he's about 5'7".
Danny White, of course, got some action last week for the first time this year. His fingers apparently healed. He's going to run it. Danny White will have plenty enough for a first down. White inside the 20 and out of bounds. Danny White, who is a marvelous athlete, just showed you why he is so highly regarded by Dallas.
Obviously the first rush of the year for the quarterback, holder, backup quarterback, and also the best punter in the league. Look, you can see the right hand is still wrapped. He had the fracture on. Well, that's a pretty good run. He is a good athlete. His daddy was a good athlete, too.
The Vikings trumpet. Right now, they're going to have to do more than that. Dallas had the first down inside the 20.
He's calling for help.
6 minutes, 52 seconds left in the first half. Staubach gives to Dorsett, who breaks a couple of tacklers down almost to the 10-yard line, about the 11. Randy Holloway made the tackle.
Natural grass. That's supposed to be the only defense of the Cowboys. They're 18-17 on regular grass playing fields, but they look like they've made the adjustment rather easily today.
And now Tom Landry is alternating Larry Brenson and Scott Laidlaw with the plays for their Dallas offensive unit. 2nd and 2, 8 yards for Dorsett on that last carry. 4 for 41 he has on the day. I beg your pardon, that's in receiving. 7 for 44 running. It's Dorsett again, and Tony inside the 5 to about the 3 very quickly.
The cut he makes at the line of scrimmage, you do not coach when you can draft it and afford it. And of course, Mr. Murchison in Texas can't afford him, but boy, he makes cuts inside those shoes that are just incredible. Maybe we'll see it in just a second. LA's on top of New Orleans now, 14-7. Watch the little move. It's not a big juke. Just makes the difference between a great player and a good one.
And it makes it so much easier to block when you've got a back that'll set things up like that. Newhouse, by the way, has an injured foot. And perhaps he will be back. We don't know for sure yet. Timeout has been called by Dallas. It's 1st and goal at the Minnesota 3. 5 minutes, 35 seconds left first half. Dallas leads at the moment 10-7.
Jim Hart, 20.
Here's Robert Newhouse, number 44.
That's Gil Brandt in the T-shirt there. He's got a book tucked in the back. He's the scout, the super sleuth for the Dallas Cowboys.
Got a bad back.
He's a good handicapper among human athletes.
1st and 3. 1st and goal at the 3, more correctly. Larry Brinson and Tony Dorsett, the running backs, and Dorsett twists his way into the end zone for his second touchdown of the day. Dallas looking good.
Jim Marshall, number 70, who's been here forever. He came over with Hagar, I think. But watch him. He has him wrapped up on the line of scrimmage, and Dorsett just spins right on through. It's actually Turner, the young cornerback, that can't control Dorsett. He must be stronger than he appears, too.
He certainly gets it done, doesn't he?
So quick.
It is now Dallas 19, Minnesota 7. And Dallas 20. We have 5.5 minutes left in the first quarter. In the first half, beg your pardon. Dallas in command. I knew something was wrong when I gave that score a minute ago as 20-7. The scoreboard was wrong here at Metropolitan Stadium. They have corrected it, and I'd like to too. 17-7.
Can't trust anybody anymore. Even the scoreboard was wrong.
Septien to kick off. Trying to kick away from the return man and does kick it out of bounds. He'll go back to the 30 now. Jimmy Edwards back there along with Robert Miller and Brent McClanahan. Tomorrow night on CBS, The White Shadow. A death on the basketball court creates a frightening dilemma for The White Shadow.
It's a great show, and people are really beginning to watch it. Big numbers.
MASH follows that. Radar says goodbye. And the 13th annual Country Music Association Awards, hosted by Kenny Rogers.
The gambler.
Gotta know when to fold him.
He's a sports person, too. Rayfield has been told by the kickoff team, don't fool around. Kick it down there, let's get it, cover it, and don't let a guy like Edwards, who's already turned on to long kickoff returns, put Kramer and company in pretty good shape again.
So Raphael Septien will kick from the 30-yard line this time.
Look at those high cuts.
Jimmy Edwards, that looks funny.
Unitas shipped him those old shoes.
I remember when everybody wore those. Anybody that had low cuts was considered to be a little bit strange. Edwards at the 10. And the far sideline stepping, knocked out of bounds by Guy Brown, I believe. Might have been Mike Hegman.
The Vikings are really complaining that it was a long way out of bounds when the last shot was taken, but Edwards doesn't back off from anybody. He's only 5'9". Look at this. They knocked him clear into the bench.
McClanahan still in some kind of a discussion, but no flag is down.
Interesting to see if young Kramer begins to fill the air maybe and gets the game completely out of whack, or if he settles back to a game plan.
St. Louis has taken the lead over Houston with 2 minutes and 35 seconds left to play in the game. Wayne Morris, a 3-yard run, got it done. Young trying to find a running room, but Randy White and Bob Bruning converge to knock him down.
Well, to play the flex defense, Landry knows you have to have people like Randy White and Bruning. You must have outstanding tackle play to play that flex defense.
Pittsburgh now 27-7 over Cleveland. Brian Sipe has thrown a touchdown pass for the Browns, second. And we've got 11, but I don't think it's quite that much.
Rashad's only caught one pass so far today.
Here's the blitz by Henderson, and Kramer just barely got rid of it. He gets it out to Ricky Young, who ducks, drops the ball. Dallas picks it up. That's Benny Barnes. Benny Barnes might get in. No, Kramer's over there, but still. Touchdown, Dallas. I believe the players have signaled that, but I haven't seen it officially from the referee yet.
Remember a year ago when Harold
Yes,
Carmichael caught a pass and dropped the ball back inbounds? And I think it was Waters picked it up that day. This is what happens. It's a short out. The total blitz is on. You can see D.D. Lewis and Harris both getting it. Watch Aaron Kyle now. Decides to take Sammy White. Hits it with his left knee. Coughs it up. Here comes Barnes. Where he's not supposed to be if you're an offensive thinking person. It's a good run back.
I'll say. Tommy Kramer, who hit him at the goal line, and then Sammy White, who caught the pass originally. But Benny Barnes gets in, and now it's 23-7. The Cowboys lead the Vikings. Raphael Septien with Danny White holding. Blocked. Still 23-7. Viking fans finally now have something to cheer about.
Matt Blair, who's made a great career out of blocking field goals and extra points. Let's see if Blair comes up over the top.
It was Matt Blair who got his left hand on it. Knocked it away. It's 23-7. That'll be back with the... Raphael Septien will kick off. And again, the dangerous Jimmy Edwards is deep for Minnesota, and he has looked good on kickoff returns.
He's averaging over 24 yards a shot this year. It's a short kick again by Septien.
This time, it's Robert Miller. He gets out of bounds at about the 28. Let's watch that 33-yard touchdown run by Benny Barnes again.
The man from Stanford. Boy, look at him cutting inside. And look at Harvey Martin downfield trying to block for him. Gets a pretty good block on Swilly. Tell you, Benny may have had himself on the offensive platoon. Now Sammy White, the intended receiver, comes back and dumps him.
28-yard return, or the line of scrimmage is the 28. It wasn't quite that long by Miller. First and 10, Minnesota. Kramer straight back, no protection in the form of setbacks at the moment. Right in the hands of Bob Brunig. Someone deflected it, and Brunig had some clear sailing too.
Chuck Foreman had his hands on it, and you know, Dallas linebackers don't get many interceptions. Last year, there was one. This year, D.D. Lewis is the only linebacker to have an INT. Take a look at it now. And the Dallas rush is beginning to get very close to Kramer, and he forces it. Was sort of banged off Ricky Young. Maybe his hands are off the linebacker. Oh, Brunig would like to have another shot at that.
I think D.D. Lewis might have gotten a piece of it. It'll be second and 10 from the 28. 4:13 left first half. Dallas in command, 23-7. Kramer again drops. And throws to Sammy White. Complete, out of bounds in front of the Viking bench.
A lot of giggling going on when the home team is trailing 23-7. Here's Kramer running a sprint out series. Again, this is something he's not really comfortable with yet. It took Fran 5 or 6 years, right? Then the next 15, he was hell on wheels. But that sprint out's a different type action for a drop back quarterback to learn.
Kramer's 8 out of 12 for 57 yards. Third down, 2. Young goes in motion to the right. Kramer's going to throw again and does for Rashad. Got it. The first down. Good catch. He took a heck of a hit from Aaron Kyle, but hung on.
Rashad is something else. Somebody had an article in the paper up here the other day that said Rashad would only catch a ball in traffic if he was in a Brinks truck. And Rashad said, did they spell my name right? He's a tough guy, and he was a great running back. Formerly out of Oregon at the St. Louis Cardinals, he was a good running back. He can take it.
Went from St. Louis to Buffalo to Seattle, and then has really found a home with the Minnesota Vikings. First down, Vikes. 41-yard line. The line of scrimmage as Bob Tucker swings to the right in motion. The blitz is on. Harvey Martin is the first Cowboy to arrive. Near sack. Referee indicating that his throwing motion had begun, so it's not a fumble.
A lot of people have thought this group is not sacking the quarterback like they used to, but the hurry-ups and the intimidation factor and how they drive a coach crazy during the week just trying to shorten up their pass patterns, they're still very effective.
Steve Riley is the man who's blocking on Harvey Martin. As Thornton checks in now as they anticipate pass again.
Blocking those guys when they're thinking you're going to pass is very difficult indeed.
Front four of Martin, White, Stalls, and Thornton this time. And again, he is going to try to throw, and does. Chased by Randy White, but got it complete nevertheless. And White gets away from a couple and cuts back. Aaron Powell has a shot at him, but Sammy White all the way down inside the Cowboy 25 to the 22. Dennis Thurman finally tripped him up.
That's the third catch of the day for White, and Sammy White is very much alive. Boy, what a great move he makes after he catches this ball. The rollout gave Kramer some time, and he's being chased by Randy White, who's probably a faster athlete. Watch this move in between here as the two Cowboys knock each other off. I think that was Barnes and maybe Harris. There's Kyle missing. There's Thurman making.
First down, Minnesota. Robert Miller and Ricky Young are the running backs for the Vikings. Fake is to Young. The throw for Sammy White. Just overthrown. He couldn't quite hang out long enough to get it. He was open. He had him beat.
The thing people like about young Kramer is that he shows emotion on the field. He's a very outgoing young person. Here's the pass. The receiver's wide open. He overthrows it. And Kramer jumped up and down like, my heavens, how could I have done that? It's a good, honest emotion, and teams like to have their quarterback show that.
21-7. Los Angeles leads New Orleans now in the second quarter as ex-Cowboy Robert Steele is in the game for Minnesota, and now they take a timeout. Tommy Kramer's still upset about that.
You know his problem, Pat. He's got 3 older brothers at home that all were quarterbacks. He's one of 11 kids. He can't sit around the dinner table and get any peace of mind at all. They've got to have a better idea than he does, right?
There's a lot of play calling going on in that situation. How about those Eagles? They beat Washington this afternoon. Again, a reminder that Friday night, 11:30 Eastern Time on CBS, Magic Johnson will make his debut for the Los Angeles Lakers, and if Bill Walton recovers sufficiently from his injury, he'll make his first appearance in a regular season game for San Diego.
Lloyd Free's still down there shooting them from outside the arena, right?
Yeah. And of course, there is a fairly good player other than Magic Johnson for the Los Angeles Lakers in the person of Kareem Abdul-Jabbar.
Hey, looks like Tom Landry's got a new tailor. That's a tweedy looking thing he's got on there. My heavens.
You mean the hat or the coat?
The coat. The coat. You don't have tweed hats, do you? Oh, you do have.
Yeah.
You said he's a male model. Did you say that he's doing some posing for?
That's right. Dallas.
I'll swear.
I don't know if he wants to be called a male model. Second and 10, Minnesota. 24-yard line, the line of scrimmage. Chuck Foreman down to about the 19. Quick trap almost broke. Thomas Henderson shut it off.
Think back to last year. The last 100-yard rushing day against the Cowboys was by Chuck Foreman last year. Remember the Thursday night when Fran and Foreman came in there with the crazy-looking new offense and beat this team, beat the Cowboys?
Sure, Dallas remembers that. It'll be 3rd and 6 as both coaches get the 2-minute warning. Tommy Kramer goes over to talk to his head man, Bud Grant. 23-7 Dallas.
Armstrong get the
2 minutes remaining first half at Metropolitan Stadium, Bloomington, Minnesota. Bud Grant talking to Tommy Kramer, his young quarterback.
He hired 2 extra coaches, didn't he, this year?
Yeah.
He only has 7, though. A lot of people have 11 or 12, 10.
3rd and 6. Don't forget at halftime, we'll update all the scores around the league with highlights with Brent, Jane, and Irv from our New York studio.
Jane's doing some scores now.
3rd and 6. Minnesota 2 out of 4 on 3rd down conversion. Tommy Kramer. Now the sun is hidden, and it's turned out to be a cloudy day. Thrown down the middle as Kramer was pressured by Martin and White. Heavy pressure from those two.
And almost at once, it wasn't a very long play developing. It was only a quick 2-step drop back, and he didn't have time. Denemeyer now has kicked 4 in a row. He did against Miami. He's really having a pretty good year. He's 6 for 7. He's a strong kicker, and you like the orthodox kicker on the real grass, huh?
So does Bud Grant. Always had one. Fred Cox, of course, was here forever. Rick Danmeyer hits another one. Right down the pipe. There's Robert Steele, the ex-Cowboy. He wanted to know before the game how he looked in that strange uniform. Looks okay.
Looked like a Viking, too.
23-10 now, with a minute 53 seconds left in the first half. And Danmeyer will kick off when that time comes.
Kramer really has to get things straightened away at halftime about how they want to throw the ball, because the Dallas rush is beginning to get close to being all over him almost at the snap, and Bud Grant will try to work it out. It's not going to be easy. Looks like Dallas wants to get even for last year.
Here's the head Viking.
He looks a lot cleaner this year.
He does, for some reason. I guess it's because of the weather.
He's got a close cut crop this year.
Seattle leading San Francisco 7-0 first quarter score, that is. Against St. Louis, beat Houston 24-17. Right here, the score is 23-10. Dallas leads the Minnesota Vikings. Steve Wilson and Ron Springs deep for Dallas. Danmeyer gets underneath it a little bit. It's going to be Steve Wilson. And Wilson goes down in the grasp of number 80, Terry LeCount, the University of Florida.
Good young receiver.
Just got him from San Francisco. Los Angeles seemingly now moving out with a little bit of ease, 28-7. Over the New Orleans Saints, who had big hopes for that game. They could have tied the Rams for the lead in that division if they could have won today, but the Rams seem at least in command at the moment.
Roger Staubach's would probably just going to play out this last minute and a half. He won't do anything too strange. A game that's apparently under control.
Yes, he will.
Will he?
Hit his shotgun. That doesn't mean he's going to try to protect it. Going to run another screen.
Oh, yes.
Preston Pearson, the oldest active NFL running back anywhere. Been in Super Bowls with 3 different teams. Nobody else can say that. He was with Baltimore, Pittsburgh, and Dallas. Shotgun again, and they are not trying to run up the clock. They would like to have more. The screen this time outside Dorsett, who spins around, tries to get away, almost did, got 5 yards nevertheless.
Roger is now 9 of 11 for about 94 yards and 8 in a row. Again, the hurry-up offense, a very good drill, no matter what the scoreboard might dictate. Get what you can right before the half. And Roger is using his backs in the offense today as much throwing as I see him all year, maybe in a couple of years.
Sure. Number 50, Jeff Seaman. Again, came out from his middle linebacker position to make the tackle. Mike Ditka writing down notes about the first half. Jim Myers over there to the left. And Tom Landry talking to Roger Staubach.
Danny White. Wonder how long White's going to want to be just a good punter and sometimes rusher of the football.
I don't know. He's certainly capable of playing anywhere. Jeff Seaman is the injured Viking.
Seaman, of course, 8th year out of Stanford. Boy, he's been a great player in the tougher games. I don't know, the big games when they would play the Rams or the Vikings would play these Cowboys. Number 50 seemed to play tougher and harder in those games.
Cleveland scored again. Talking about Seaman, who's heading for the bench. I guess certainly one of his best games was in the Super Bowl that they lost to Oakland.
Well, he had to make about 25 tackles that day. Defensive line disappeared.
Super Bowl that year was in the Rose Bowl in Pasadena, and that's where it's going to be this year.
Wonder who's going to be there.
I'm going to be there. You're going to be there.
The Cowboys might be there, too.
And CBS will furnish you the coverage. Shotgun formation again. Vikings didn't get offside. The snap from Fitzgerald was a little bit low as Staubach fires outside. Preston Pearson gets it and gets out of bounds. Still a minute and 12 seconds. No, he juggled it. He didn't have it. They wrote it incomplete. Nate Wright on the coverage.
Preston just acknowledged that he was juggling it. A little bit of a funny snap, and it looked like Rogers' foot caught. It's just a square out by the back coming out of the backfield. And Pearson is so tough, he goes back to Pittsburgh in the offseason and still lives there. That looked like a pretty good catch, didn't it?
He didn't quite get both feet down.
Was that what it was?
Inbounds. I believe that's what the ruling was. You know, let's see if we can watch John Fitzgerald. This is a unique art, snapping that ball if they're in the shotgun this time. He does it one-handed, and he does it not looking. Back to Staubach. See his head up? Watching who he's going to block the whole time.
Mullaney.
Mark Mullaney is the first Viking to arrive and sack Staubach.
The third sack for number 77. That replaced Carl Eller. Big kid is 6'6". Watch the left part of your screen from a three-man rush. They'll twist. Again, the lanes open up a little bit with that three-man rush. He just gets on the inside of Cooper and does a heck of a job. Good play by Mullaney.
Danny White has been in punt formation once before, but he didn't kick it. There's a fine young athlete right there with his back to you, Doug Cosby. He is the reason, his training camp and his potential, that Dallas is carrying 3 tight ends this year.
There's Mullaney.
Full grown.
Still single.
It's terrifying. Seattle and San Francisco are tied as O.J. Simpson has just scored for San Francisco on a 3-yard run. The number 1 punter in the NFC, Danny White. I think he probably won't run this time. Rafferty, the center. Danny White won't hurt his average with that one. Jimmy Edwards. Thomas Henderson hit him first, held him up, and Rafferty, who snapped the ball, helped make the tackle. 44-yard punt by Danny White.
Henderson on the tackle.
Again, a reminder that Brent and Jane and Irv will update you on all the activities around the league at halftime today. Highlights of the other games as well. And whatever else is going on in the world of sports. Tommy Kramer.
I think we're going to have a report on the Pope's visit too during the halftime, part of that halftime.
I was in Philadelphia when he was there. I was in Chicago when he was there. What a dynamic,
What a person.
individual. Right. Tommy Kramer with another mix-up in the Viking backfield. Has to keep the ball and run with it himself. The flag is down in the background, as you can see. Thomas Henderson made the tackle.
Stahl says it's on Minnesota, the young defensive left tackle. Again, with the rules the way they are, where you can lock those fists and push out as an offensive lineman, it is really hard even for the coaches to look at the films during the week and figure out when you're holding and when you're not.
46 seconds left in the first half. 23-10, Dallas leads Minnesota. Chuck Foreman trots out. Penalty marked off against the Vikes. Chuck Heberling.
Illegal use of the hands. Offense, number 67. First down.
The offensive center, number 67, is Dennis Swilley, who's taken Mick Tinglehoff's place from Texas A&M.
He's an Aggie, all right.
He's also a good center. Straight ahead they run. Dave Stalls was the ball carrier. Was the tackler. Ricky Young, the ball carrier. Stalls was lined up in front of the center and did a good spin out in order to make that tackle.
One thing Bud Grant's always done, especially for a Dallas defense, is to come up with a few special wrinkles. And I would imagine if we let this half go now and get into the locker room, that when he comes back out, he'll say, let's try a couple of these plays and see what the heck happens. So we might see some wild plays in the second half.
Clock running with 14 seconds. Now, this will probably be the last one unless Dallas takes a timeout. Harvey Martin wraps up Ricky Young.
Ricky Young, the ball carrier.
That should do it. And does. The end of the first half at Metropolitan Stadium in Bloomington, Minnesota sees the Dallas Cowboys 23-10 over Minnesota. As Bud Grant will go over and think about some of those changes perhaps that Tom Brookshire was just talking about. Another good half of football though coming up. Dallas up by 13 at the moment, but this has always been an outstanding series.
Dallas, Minnesota up in Bloomington, 23-10 at halftime.
The preceding announcement was brought to you as a public service by the National Football League. Rick Danmeyer set to kick off. Ron Springs and Steve Wilson deep for Dallas. Second half about to get underway. The Cowboys lead it 23-10. Danmeyer then. Line drive kick will be handled by Wilson. Springs trying to get in front to Brock. Wilson breaks to the outside, breaks a couple of tackles, gets to the 30, perhaps to 31. Steve Wilson on the return. A lot of good athletes down on the field, and a very good athlete here in the booth with us, Martina Navratilova, one of the great Cowboy fans.
Big football fan?
Yeah, I have been, and they announced it yesterday at the matches that I was a Cowboy fan, and I got a few boos from the people here, but I don't think they kind of thought about it when I was playing anymore.
Yeah. What about tonight? You got some doubles?
We're in the doubles finals with Billie Jean against Betty Stova and Wendy Turnbull in the Michelob Light Women's Tennis Classic right here at the Met Center.
How about your Cowboys so far?
Well, so far I've been playing pretty good. Those turnovers sure helped us. And,
There's another one.
well, speaking of turnovers.
Roger Staubach on the tackle. Ball is picked up by Jim Marshall on the recovery. Wow.
I think I better get out of here.
You call that one.
Marshall has played every game that the Minnesota Vikings have played since that first team in 70, or in 60. You can see he was knocked out by Matt Blair. Marshall's down to 220 pounds. He still looks pretty active, doesn't he?
Martina, you say you think you better get out of here?
I don't know. I better quit talking anyway.
Okay. We thank you very much for coming by, and good luck to you. Thank you very much.
The best.
Tommy Kramer and the Vikings have a first down at the Dallas 20. And Kramer is going to throw on first down if he stays away from Harvey Martin, and he does. Benny Barnes on the coverage. The intended receiver was Sammy White.
Kramer was 10 for 17 in that first half for 193 yards, but only 33 yards rushing. The Dallas team, on the other hand, had 132 yards rushing, 86 passing, and appeared to be in pretty much control until that turnover just in the fumble.
Dallas anticipating pass. Ricky Young and Robert Miller, the Minnesota backs. Aaron Mitchell is in the game for Dallas. And Dennis Thurman has extra defensive backs. Rest of the Dallas secondary remains the same. Ricky Young swung wide in motion. The handoff is to Miller. Perhaps some running room. He cuts back inside and is chased down by Bruce Thornton, the rookie defensive end.
Good play by big Ron Yeri, number 73. Offensive right tackle. Stayed on his feet and didn't throw. And it's pretty hard for a guy 6'6" to stay out and stay up.
Again, a passing situation arises. Chuck Foreman checks in, among others, for Minnesota into their offensive unit. Robert Steele, the ex-Dallas Cowboy, is one of those. 23-10.
And Rashad has got to draw a crowd of Dallas Cowboys.
The Vikings have 4 wide receivers to match the Cowboy defense. It's a third down situation with 8 to go. Kramer comes straight back this time and throws. Sammy White. Incomplete. Referee says he was out of bounds. Did not get both feet down. He caught the pass.
I think Sammy thought he was probably in better shape than he was. He glided out of bounds. It's a short out. As Pat said, there were 4 receivers. It's just a quick out to the outside. He gets one down, but doesn't get it obviously out of bounds, and Benny Barnes was watching.
No question about it. He didn't get him down. And so Danmeyer again. 1 for 1 from this distance. Paul Krause, who's been holding for a long, long time.
A straight-ahead kicker.
Straight away. Out of the hole of Krause from 25 yards this time. And plenty good. 23-13. The Cowboy lead is cut to 10. And a lot of time left in Bloomington. Dallas 23, Minnesota 10, third quarter. Rick Danmeyer set to kick off. That Sports Spectacular will feature some of the best athletes in the world.
Danmeyer does not kick it into the end zone. In fact, every kickoff the past year was run back in some form. So
will this one be.
Yeah.
Wilson at the 5. The wedge forms in the middle of the field. He's trying to get behind it, but nothing doing. The Vikings do an excellent job, led by John Turner. He is the first man to make the hit as Wilson couldn't get behind the wedge.
A young cornerback from down in Miami. He's a good one.
Tom, while we have a moment, the entire world of professional football was saddened by the passing of Bob Peck of the Denver Broncos.
He was the publicity director for the Broncos, and I had known him from the Air Force Academy, but he was really loved, and he loved the game of pro football. You're right, we're really sad.
Set on first down, trying to swing wide to the right and picks up 3 or 4, but that Minnesota defense is fired up. They trail by 10, 23 to 13.
Right now, you would have to feel the tempo is in purple. The Vikings had the turnover, that big fumble recovery by Marshall, and now they're making it tough on Dorsett. And I'm telling you, they really strung that out. A great job by Hannon, the safety man, making that play. Jim Marshall got in on it, too.
Before that carry, Dorsett had carried 10 times, picked up 59 yards, and scored 2 touchdowns for Dallas. Benny Barnes got the other when he picked up a fumble. Larry Brinson is now the lone back behind Roger Staubach. Larry gets the call, stumbles momentarily, and Larry Brinson, big, burly running back. In fact, the Cowboys say that he is, among the runners, the best one of the 3 fullbacks.
And maybe the fastest in the whole backfield except for Dorsett.
9,500.
Paul Krause made the tackle in that time, and maybe the Vikes are going to try to do it more. They're lining up in a 34 defense so that Seaman and Studwell are both in the game at the same time as inside linebackers. Let's see if they're still in it.
Brinson bowled for a first down. He's been replaced by Laidlaw. And Dorsett gets another carry. Breaks into the clear, and Tony Dorsett breaks out, almost breaks out of another pack, gets into Viking territory. Down to the Viking 49. Boy, he can move.
Watch the block by Laidlaw now, right in the center of your screen. He goes on the linebacker. He leads through. It's a fullback lead. Good block right here. You can see that was the one that broke him. And again, 33 doesn't have to turn it on and overcompensate. He is under control at high speed.
27 yards for Tony Dorsett. Looks like he might be headed for another 100-yard day. 23-13, Dallas leads. They're on the move in Viking territory. Brinson now the fullback. Pearson in motion. Brinson gets the call, and Larry Brinson bowls ahead for about 5.
What Roger is saying is if you want to get in that 34, a defense that you're not used to, you know, we'll show you how to break it. We're going to run straight at you with it. Here comes the new back in with the play.
Scott Laidlaw.
And Roger gets it about a few seconds earlier than he would if it was a guard or a tackle.
John Fitzgerald has been shaken up, Tom, and gone to the sideline, replaced by the Cowboys' #1 draft choice of last year.
From Tennessee, young Shaw.
Robert Shaw. Watching what Shaw did. It didn't turn out too well. Here's Dorsett. He is cut down back to the line of scrimmage by Mark Mullaney with the arm tackle.
But Marshall made the play. Number 70 really got outside. Watch the middle top of your screen. You'll see number 70. My gosh, he just fights off the block by Donovan, who's got to have him by 55 pounds. Doesn't quite make the tackle, but here comes Mullaney. He mops up beautifully.
Loss of 2 makes it 3rd and 12 in the passing situation. Wonder how well Shaw snaps in the shotgun situation.
I wonder if he'll do it blind or if he'll have to peek.
He's got his head up. He'll do it blind. Pearson comes back. Preston.
Oh!
Staubach juggles. Staubach goes down.
Mullaney with that great lateral pursuit chased Roger back. And the blind snap is caught.
Snap that one, Boyd Wilson.
You can watch the blocking now. Of course, Rafferty and company don't realize it's a fumble, and Mullaney does. Roger almost fair caught the snap.
Maybe he should have. You know what? We better hire Martinez over rockets one out of the end zone. Too much time, I think.
That is 4th and 46 or 47 yards to go. Now it's going to be 4th and about 49 yards to go. That's about as much as I've ever seen, I believe, on the field.
4th and 53. You think they'll gamble?
What's the call, right?
I don't believe they'll run a screen pass.
They might even be in a tight punting formation. I wonder if Minnesota's going to come after the ball.
Well, they do very well at blocking kicks and have over the years. Danny White now standing about 6 yards deep in his own end zone. Rafferty is the center, and it's a good snap. This one is not as good a kick. Jimmy Edwards tries to step away, but Thomas Henderson is down in a hurry. He made the tackle. Edwards did not signal for a fair catch, surprisingly. Dallas 23-13 with 9:13 left, third quarter. Doubleheader games next week. The first game's New Orleans and Tampa Bay. Buccaneers lost their first one today.
Philadelphia, St. Louis, and the Cardinals are a lot better than people think they are.
And so is Philadelphia. San Francisco against New York. Giants won their first one today. Then Washington at Cleveland. 1st and 10. We'll finish running down the schedule in just a second. Tommy Kramer, the quarterback, in Dallas territory at their 46 throws on first down, intended and completed to Sammy White.
Boy, D.D. Lewis was right on his back. Note the aggressive blocking now by the Viking offensive line. They'll block it just about like it's a running play. Here's the bad snap. Notice the young center now looking straight ahead at Duck White, the man over him, and just snaps it 10 yards behind Roger.
I don't think even he knew he snapped it poorly.
Roger, he had some bad days over in Vietnam when he was in the Navy, but nothing like that run, huh?
He didn't have a lot of help back there with him, did he?
Nope.
Now the Vikings have the ball in Dallas territory. 2nd and 6. Kramer throwing on almost every down, this time behind good protection. Caught by Ahmad Rashad, who was really wrecked by Aaron Kyle. But Rashad springs right up. He took a wallop.
Again, we told you about Rashad. Spell his name right. He'll catch it in traffic. Good blocking. Double teaming again on Randy White on the left side of that pocket. Rashad takes it, puts it away, and really gets stuck, but holds on to the ball. Kyle really dug it.
First down, Vikings at the Cowboy 27. This is getting interesting. Again, Kramer. Nope, this time he brings it back to Ricky Young, and Young may not have gotten back to the line of scrimmage.
For the first time, they're calling the plays. Jerry Burns is upstairs. He sends it down to Bud Grant, and Bud Grant helps young Kramer by calling the plays. Of course, when Fran was here, he pretty much did it at the line of scrimmage, I think,
he sort of ran the offense on his own. Bob Brunig, by the way, made that last tackle, first one to hit him. The year he's having.
Arizona State, he played under Cush, didn't he? Cush turned out some good product. There's Fitzgerald.
He has a cut over his eye, which they have doctored, and with all probability, Fitz will be back. 2nd 11. Kramer. Gets Sammy White. White still on his feet. Sammy White. What an effort. Touchdown.
Oh. Look at Kramer, number 9. Because Kramer beat the Dallas blitz. Look at number 9, went down and caught the receiver in the end zone. Watch everybody make a move. As the man in motion goes, here comes the blitz. Both outside linebackers. Ball is softly thrown, and from here on, Sammy White shows you why he's one of the great receivers. Takes a good shot by Mitchell. Bounces back to the sidelines, and Cliff Harris is there to only watch him go in. That's a great play.
Tell you, what an effort by Sammy White. Rick Denmeyer hits his extra point. And you think back to earlier in this game, look at the run again, when Matt Blair blocked the extra point attempt by Raphael Septien. Dallas leads by 3. Minnesota closing in. The touchdown, a 28-yarder from Tommy Kramer to Sammy White.
Sammy White has 6 catches for 94 yards and a big touchdown, his first of the season.
Rick Denmeyer kicks it high in the direction of Turner again. Wilson, I'm sorry. Steve Wilson this time does get behind the wedge, but one of the Viking coverage men really collapsed it. Randy Holloway.
Big defensive end for Pittsburgh ran right through the wedge. Viking defense has really turned on their entire team. Here's Wilson. There's Holloway.
The capacity crowd at Metropolitan Stadium now begins the defense chant. John Fitzgerald is back in the game at center for Dallas. Dorsett and Scott Laidlaw, the running backs, and Dorsett chased by Mullaney, gets away from him, and Tony Dorsett. He can turn nothing into quite something very quickly.
It's got to be so frustrating, though, to think you're in the right defense. Watch, it's a misdirection. There's the dive by Laidlaw, and he cuts off a couple of defensive linemen. And now it's simply a race that the Vikings cannot win. He makes it look so easy.
Matt Blair, who made the tackle, Billy Joe Dupree through the block just before Dorsett went down. Pittsburgh now 37-14. Cleveland, Baltimore 10-6 over the Jets. Ron Springs and Larry Brinson, the 2 backs for Dallas. Drew Pearson in motion. Picks up again, and Staubach has no place to go. James White led the charge.
And Mullaney made the first penetration by the defensive Vikings. And right now, all of that time and possession of ball by Dallas was in the first half. They haven't kept the ball at all in the second half. Duck White makes the final tackle there.
You thought about the fact that neither Dallas wide receiver, neither Drew Pearson nor Tony Hill has caught a pass?
All been the backs, huh?
All been the backs. Well, Billy Joe Dupree has one. Second 14. Laidlaw in motion wide to the left. Staubach comes straight back this time. And again, it's Ron Springs this time. In the grasp is number 59, Matt Blair.
You're right, it's a turned-on defense. Watch number 59. He'll come to the left of your screen. Here's Mullaney working on the offensive tackle. Great play by Blair. And we told you the linebackers are as good as there are around. As a unit, they are better than a lot.
Dallas now goes with 3 wide receivers as Butch Johnson is checked in. And so has Drew Pearson, Preston Pearson. Drew is already in there.
Fitzgerald will make the snap without a problem, huh?
Again, he doesn't look. Again, this was perfect from Fitz. Protection is overwhelming. Ron Springs finally is taken down though before he can go too far. Mark Mullaney hustled back. And the defense for Minnesota holds, and Danny White comes on again.
And Tony Dorsett hurt his wrist last time he was involved in the play, and he is on the sidelines right now.
23-20. Dallas leads Minnesota. It looked like a Dallas runaway early in the second quarter, but the Vikings have come running back.
A lot of Dallas players were talking about none of them going off the field, like what's happening.
Jimmy Edwards deep for Minnesota. They're going to try to block it. They do not get it, and White again really nails it. Edwards signals for the fair catch, doesn't make it, and the Cowboys will down it at about the 14-yard line.
Oh.
But Minnesota fired up now. Bud Grant looks on very calmly. He's about the only one on the Viking side that is. Dallas by 3.
Nobody's been hurt or not. You know, I didn't know we're not hurt. Wow.
Tonight on CBS, 60 Minutes. Archie Bunker's plays one day at a time. Alice, the Jeffersons, and Trapper John. Now, what about 60 Minutes?
That's that James Bond type thing about how dangerous the communist agents are, huh?
We'll tell you more about that in just a sec. Right now, it's Viking first down. Their own 14, and the reverse is to Ricky Young. With a blocker in front, Randy Hughes tries to play him off. Brunig finally makes the tackle. The middle linebacker was not fooled. There's Tony Dorsett on the sideline. I would assume he'll be back. That's 60 Minutes. is a real live whodunit, by the way, right out of the pages of James Bond. This one involves communist agents, murder with a poisoned umbrella.
A poisoned umbrella?
Broad daylight in the heart of London. That sounds interesting. 60 minutes.
Dorsett's just under 100 yards rushing, 98, and he's got a bruised thumb, and I imagine will return and carry on.
Second down. And reverse that 7 yards. Here's Chuck Foreman. And Foreman running like the Foreman of old. Stopped by Cliff Harris, but Minnesota picks up the first down.
That looked like Foreman running about 5 different directions at once. A very hard guy to tackle in the past. Randy White runs around the block a little bit. Let's see where they... Looks to me like number 67, Swilly, the offensive center, got a good block on the linebacker.
Outside the 30. At the 31, 1st and 10. Pittsburgh 37, Cleveland 21. Browns just scored on a touchdown pass from Brian Sight to Galvin Hill. 2:30 left. Ooh, there is the Dallas defense showing its authority. Randy White stopped Chuck Foreman.
There's the flex. The flex this time is on the weak side, the weak side flex. You can see Harvey Martin and company, and Stalls that time went under, and Brunig went over the top. Your middle linebacker should make probably 60 to 70% of the tackles in that flex. Huh?
You realize Dallas has only had 3 middle linebackers in the history of that franchise. The first one's on the coaching staff now, Jerry Tubbs. The second one, of course, was Leroy Jordan. And now Bob Brunig.
Quite a tradition, huh?
Kramer roll out right, looking for a place to go. Got away from one, and finally smothered by Dave Stalls. Harvey Martin and Larry Cole forced him to make that move.
Young Tommy Kramer is still hot about it. There's Stalls from northern Colorado. Let's see how Stalls makes the move. It'll come from the left of your screen. 65. Pretty good battle. Young Kramer now gets out there. Just too good a coverage by the secondary. And he can't quite do that like number 10. Not yet. He doesn't tiptoe as well as Fran used to.
He doesn't have eyes in the back of his head yet. 28-10, L.A. over New Orleans now. Minnesota back in that setup when they have 4 wide receivers, so to speak, in the game. They run a draw play. Ricky Young breaks a couple of tackles. I beg your pardon, it was Robert Miller, not Ricky Young. Dallas saying we recovered. What happened?
They did.
And they're right. Fumble that we didn't see at the bottom of that pile, and look who's the last to get up.
Crash Harris, and he tried to throw it back into the Minnesota huddle. A good play. Let's watch the blocking. Swilly goes over and blocks. Pretty good move and a good tackle up there. It looked like Hughes might have been the one that caused it underneath the pile.
Right. Got his arm in there and braked it loose. And Harris made the recovery. There's Cliff, who has a history of making big plays. Dallas has the football at the Minnesota 31 with a chance to add to their lead, which at one time was commanding but no longer is. Jay Saldi goes in motion to the left. The handoff is to Dorsett. Tony gets around the outside and he'll go all the way. Tony Dorsett, his 3rd touchdown of the day, 31 yards away.
Bad thumb doesn't bother him. And you know, the defense made a pretty good initial move on that play. Tight end came out in motion. They ran to the tight end side. He's already gone by to the left. Watch the penetration by the people on defense.
Herbert Scott out in front.
Boy, good block on the outside.
And did Dorsett ever set up that block?
I believe that was Pearson. I believe that was Drew Pearson on the outside.
He got the first block. Herbert Scott got the second one. And Dorsett did the rest.
3 touchdowns and 127 yards for Tony D.
29-20. Dallas up. Raphael Septien trying to make it 30-20. Good. There was some doubt for a minute. He didn't hit it very well. Here's the touchdown run again.
You're right behind the Seaman, the middle linebacker. Looks like they almost have him, but the speed, and again, it's all with control. He sort of turns it on here, but it was sort of a 3/4 glide. I guess he's conserving energy like everybody else.
He's so deceptive, you know, when
Yes,
he changes speeds. You think he's going all out, and all of a sudden he's got another gear.
But the Vikings did get their attention.
They've still got it. 60 minutes immediately following football. Tony Dorsett, 3 touchdowns. He had none going into this game. Now he's got 3. And how many yards did you say?
127 on 14 carries.
Number 35, Robert Miller.
And he's been stuck a few times, too. Hard.
Yes. 30-20. Dallas leads as the discussion goes on with Raphael Septien.
By the way, Raphael's father was one of the great soccer players in Mexican history down there. He was on their world-class soccer team.
He's a fine athlete.
Sure is.
Bought a house from Randy Hughes. I don't know if that makes him a fine athlete or not.
He better not find water in his basement, huh?
That's right. Here's Robert Miller with some room. Short kick by Septien. Out to the 40. So the Vikings again have a pretty good spot from which to operate. Next week, the first game's on CBS. New Orleans, Tampa Bay, Philadelphia, St. Louis, San Francisco against the New York Giants, Washington at Cleveland. And the doubleheader games would be Atlanta at Oakland. That shapes up to be a big one. And Detroit at Green Bay.
We're going to be in Oakland for that one. And for some reason, the interconference games are a little extra. They pump a little life into us, don't they?
We haven't been to Oakland in a long time. What if they're ready for us?
I doubt it.
Kramer on first down. Has to run. Over the line of scrimmage now, perhaps. Intended for Rashad. He might have cut it loose just before he stepped over.
There's no flag. There's no flag, but he did get their attention.
They've still got it. 60 minutes immediately following football. Tony Dorsett, 3 touchdowns. He had none going into this game. Now he's got 3. And how many yards did you say?
127 on 14 carries.
Number 35, Robert Miller.
And he's been stuck a few times, too. Hard.
Yes. 30-20. Dallas leads as the discussion goes on with Raphael Septien.
By the way, Raphael's father was one of the great soccer players in Mexican history down there. He was on their world-class soccer team.
He's a fine athlete.
Sure is.
Bought a house from Randy Hughes. I don't know if that makes him a fine athlete or not.
He better not find water in his basement, huh?
That's right. Here's Robert Miller with some room. Short kick by Septien. Out to the 40. So the Vikings again have a pretty good spot from which to operate. Next week, the first game's on CBS. New Orleans, Tampa Bay, Philadelphia, St. Louis, San Francisco against the New York Giants, Washington at Cleveland. And the doubleheader games would be Atlanta at Oakland. That shapes up to be a big one. And Detroit at Green Bay.
We're going to be in Oakland for that one. And for some reason, the interconference games are a little extra. They pump a little life into us, don't they?
We haven't been to Oakland in a long time. What if they're ready for us?
I doubt it.
Kramer on first down. Has to run. Over the line of scrimmage now, perhaps. Intended for Rashad. He might have cut it loose just before he stepped over.
There's
no flag.
There's no flag, but he did cross the line of scrimmage and got away with the pass. That's usually loss of down. But they didn't drop a flag on it.
A discussion going on to that effect.
Look how long the legs are on Rashad. I always thought that he's like 6'2", but he's got the legs of somebody like 6'7".
Sometimes it's hard to figure out when an athlete is that good as Rashad is, and he bounces around to 4 different teams, and all of a sudden it all comes together as it has for him here at Minnesota. Denver 7-0. Young in motion. Kramer drops. This time he has a little more time. Tom Landry looking on as the pass was complete to Chuck Foreman.
Henderson on the tackle.
Kramer gets through making the passes. You can see there is concern, always concern, but pretty emotional about it. Young Kramer runs down and is almost the one helping the receiver up after a pass. And that time Randy White came very close to smothering him.
3rd and 2. And the extra Dallas deep defenders come in. Aaron Mitchell and Dennis Thurman.
It's nickel time.
Still have 4 down linemen. Take the trap. They throw, and Bob Tucker should have the first down. He does. Tackled by Randy Hughes, but he struggled just barely for enough. That's the end of the third quarter with the score. Dallas 30, Minnesota 20. We now pause for a word from your local station. Attendance today, 47,572. No empty seats at the Met.
Young Kramer, by the way, has pretty good stats, too. You can see Tony Dorsett's. But young Kramer is 15 of 25 for 140 yards and is moving pretty well against a tough defense.
Tommy Kramer fires deep for Sammy White, and he had him. If he had let him upfield, instead of throwing it out of bounds, he had 6.
Out and up by Sammy White. Sammy doesn't have the overpowering speed, but a lot of people say that he runs up on you and then suddenly he can get an edge and hold it. He's a very smooth gliding runner and a great pass receiver.
Dennis Thurman and Aaron Mitchell check into the Dallas secondary again. Bruning and D.D. Lewis go out, the 2 linebackers. They leave Thomas Henderson in.
You think it blitz on second down and a dime?
We got Mitchell up close to the line and Henderson standing right in the middle. A blitz is entirely possible. They run instead. Chuck Foreman struggles for a couple. Henderson involved with the tackle along with Dave Stahl.
Dallas is blitzing more this year from their regular formations. From the third down, the nickel defense, they always blitzed a lot, but they're blitzing a lot now from the basic 4-3 and even from the flex, which is a sort of a departure for Stautner's group on defense.
Stalls goes out, and Larry Bethea is about to see his first action of the day. 3rd and 7, Tom Landry with his notes under his arm. Thornton is the nearest Dallas defender. And Thornton is the man who makes the tackle. 3rd sack for Dallas, Bruce Thornton.
It's the 4th sack by the rookie from Illinois. Boy, somehow the Dallas computer figured it out, number 77. The Illini didn't win too many games, but this guy was the best rusher in the Big Ten, pass rusher. He took the inside on a stunt. Somehow they scraped off the offensive tackle, which was Yerry.
Coleman, number 8, lines one. This is Steve Wilson, who has some time to return it this time, but has no place to go. Penalty flag back up the field. See what happened. Indicate that somebody might have gone downfield a little bit early. Chuck Heberling, the referee.
It was dropped very early. It was dropped even before the Coleman kick, so it wasn't blocking or roughing the kicker.
Looks like Dallas is going to refuse it. Bruce Huther, captain of the special teams, discussing it. And now we'll get the call.
Number 56, illegally down the field on the kicking team, refused. First down.
Tomas?
Dave.
Tomas Henderson?
Dave Huffman.
Oh, Huffman.
Here's the punt. And down he goes.
Never laid a glove on him either.
Never touched him. 13:54 left in this contest, and Dallas leads by 10 points. Tomorrow night on CBS, White Shadow, followed by Madge, Radar saying goodbye. And then be sure not to miss the 13th Annual Country Music Association Awards with the host, Kenny Rogers, all on CBS tomorrow night. Roger Staubach is still the quarterback. Hands off on a reverse to Billy Joe Dupree, and he's got some room. Billy Joe still on his feet, spins. Dallas first down yardage out near midfield down to the 47. Fred McNeil made the tackle.
Great ball handling by Staubach. He fakes the Laidlaw so well going up the middle. Watch this fake, and watch the Minnesota defense freeze. They all, now the reverse is on the outside by the tight end. A good block coming back. It must have been Drew Pearson. But the outside receivers, Tony Hill and Drew Pearson, have not caught a pass yet. Looks like Jimmy Carr's defensive secondary did a pretty good job.
They cut down Randy Holloway. That was the key block. Halftime score you just saw. Here's Dorsett being caught from behind this time. See, that happened very often. That's Randy Holloway. Jeff Seaman also.
There's young Kramer on the bench. He's been facing the barren waste, boy, going against that Dallas defense. It's tough for a young quarterback, and he's fared very well. He looks extremely poised, doesn't he?
He does. Of course, he spent his collegiate career in a strictly passing offense at Rice. Pittsburgh 44-21. Rocky Blyer just scored for the Steelers. Steelers must be angry at somebody. 2nd and 13. Pass rush is adequate. Billy Joe Dupree dives, but can't get it. Covered by Jeff Seaman, but he was open.
Roger Staubach had a lot of time. The pocket let him really wait for the big tight end to clear. Again, the linebackers are kicking to the outside, helping on those dangerous outside receivers, so he's been using his backs. Dorsett's caught 5 passes. But everybody in Dallas is having to work hard today.
Ernie Starkner is making sure that that's the truth. And his defense gathered around him. 3rd and 13 as Butch Johnson is in the game. Tony Hill and Drew Pearson split wide to the right. And Butch Johnson comes wide to the left. Shotgun formation. Here comes Preston Pearson back next to Staubach, and he stays momentarily into block, and now he goes out.
Oh.
Deep for Tony Hill. Got it. Had it. Dropped it. Tommy Hannon on the coverage. Look at Tony Hill.
The most dangerous receiver that Dallas has after he catches it didn't catch it. And Hannon showed up late. The ball should have been put away. And I don't know if you could throw any better from the shotgun and hit the inside receiver clearing straight up. Must have cut in and then turned it straight up. Good pass protection. You just can't drop it over the shoulder any better than that.
Perfect throw. Here is Danny White. And again, a high kick from Danny. Edwards signals for a fair catch. Dallas 30-20. We get 60 minutes on after football. 12:09 left to play. 1st and 10 Vikings at their own 25. Dallas leads 30-20. They retired number 10, Fran Tarkenton's jersey, in halftime ceremonies here today. The only Viking shirt to be retired. Francis is with us, and we're going to be talking to him in just a minute. 1st and 10, Tommy Kramer, his successor. Throws high to Sammy White, off his fingertips.
You split that zone a few times, didn't you, Fran, that way?
Well, we tried. You know, with receivers like Rashad and White, you got a lot going for you, and both of them have played well today and have all year. But this is a tremendous football game. The Vikings have come back the second half, I think, with a lot of emotion, a lot of spirit, and made a game out of it, and it's still in the balance.
Which is the most competitive, football or television?
I don't know. I think down there it probably is, Ricky, as you know. That's tough down there.
2nd down. What do you think of Tommy Kramer?
I think he's playing very well today. A very good controlled game.
You like his future?
I really do. He's got Sammy. He's got Sammy.
Got him open. And he's got it.
Does he ever have Sammy?
You know, I believe that pep talk you gave him at the half must have helped.
I don't know, but you know, Sammy's kind of taking the back seat. You'll see the play here again. You'll see Sammy come over from the left, and watch the free safety. He's gone with the role of Kramer, and Tommy puts the ball in here in good shape. He had to keep it low. If he doesn't keep it low, it's intercepted.
Now, Kramer sort of shortened up his strides running around the pocket. Do you think he studied your films and picked that up?
I don't know, but any quarterback's got to have quick feet and short, choppy steps back there, and he does. And
a lion's heart?
Yeah, you need that. They got something going here, looks like.
1st down, Dallas 38. Stu Boyd starts in motion to the left. Kramer again drops. In the direction of Chuck Foreman.
Are you surprised at Chuck Foreman's performance this year?
Well, Chuck's a great player. You've got to use Chuck out of the backfield as a pass receiver to make you most effective. And they haven't really gotten the ball to him a lot, but they've gotten the ball down the field a lot to Rashad. And but Chuck's a tremendous athlete coming out of the backfield, and you really need to get the ball to him more than they have this year, I think, to fully utilize the great abilities that he has, because he can run with the ball, as both of you know, once he gets it. I think they've got to come back and throw again here.
Dallas thinks so because they've got the extra defensive backs in, Mitchell and Thurman.
They got Thornton in, too, the big defensive left end.
He was a factor the last time. They do the same stunt, but this time the Vikings almost pick it up, and they do. They intended for Rashad, who is saying he's being interfered with, but no flag.
That's good defensive play.
Benny Barnes can be in the closest, tightest plays of any defensive back I've ever seen.
And watch Tommy here move around, Brookie. I think he made a pretty good move here. You don't need to move much back there, but he got a little pressure off to his right, comes back to the left. Good play, got a position to throw. Now set your feet, good. Can't ask him to do any more, threw a little bit behind him, but I don't think he had anywhere to throw at that time.
They're rushing the football a little bit more than you probably did, Fran, right?
Well, you know, their offensive line, they feel, has played really well for them this year, and they're coming off the ball good in there, but they're not rushing much today.
3rd and 10. Passing situation, and Tommy Kramer wants a timeout. Fran, I know you're not supposed to work on Sunday afternoon. You work on Monday night. Thank you so much, and good luck in whatever endeavor might come your way.
Thank you, Patrick. I've always enjoyed you, and Brookie, you do a great job, and thank you very much. Good visiting with you.
But how does it feel to get in a few words sideways up here with us, all right?
It's nice. I'm finally an expert after all these years.
Congratulations.
Good luck, Fran.
Thank you, Brookie.
Thank you so much. Tommy Kramer over talking with Bud Grant, and the man leaving our booth spent a lot of time talking to Bud Grant, Fran Tarkenton. Nobody did it better. That's Summerall with Tom Brookshire with 11:05 left to play in this contest. Dallas leads 30-20. It's 3rd and 10 Minnesota at the Cowboys 38.
Sammy White's caught 7 for 131 yards.
Sammy White comes in motion. Tommy Kramer goes back. Blitz is on by Henderson. He misses him. But Thornton takes him down. The rookie on the good recovery.
Thornton is really all over the place, but a good movement in the pocket by Kramer. This is what Fran was talking about. The young quarterback is beginning to put it together. There's the delayed blitz by Henderson. Look at this battle by Thornton. 216, he lays out and makes the tackle. Sammy White may have been open down on the post.
You know, there are not many linebackers in this league or in football anywhere fast enough to blitz in a delay like Henderson does it. Coleman into the end zone. Coleman went down again at midfield, making believe he was roughed. Watch it.
He had 3 inside the 20-yard line last week. He's going through all kinds of gyrations.
Mike Hegman was number 58 of Dallas. Jerry Burns, in all probability, who's up on the level we are in the press box, calling plays down. But right now, Roger Staubach, still the Dallas quarterback, has Larry Brinson, I beg your pardon, it's Scott Laidlaw, and Tony Dorsett. And it's Laidlaw with the ball. Fumble! And Dallas got it back.
There's one niche in the armor, not being able to hold on to the football. We've seen that happen in Cleveland. We've seen it happen against the Chicago Bears. We've seen it happen today, really.
Debris on the recovery.
Dallas has fumbled 5 times and lost 2. I've been corrected from our producer, Bob Stinner, about some misinformation that we got on the Cleveland-Pittsburgh game. Steelers lead at 44-35. That was correct. But there are about 8 minutes left instead of 3. So the Browns have put on some sparkling comeback.
Hey, John Fitzgerald's back at center.
Run another screen pass, or try to. Laidlaw sees it bounce by him.
The Vikings have their #1 draft choices, Mullaney, Holloway, and they are beginning to be fine young defensive linemen. There's Duck White coming up the middle. See Holloway making him throw it over too high and can't get the Laidlaw reception on that. Screen was pretty well set up, too.
Duck White is another one who has started to develop. It'll be 3rd and 9 for Dallas.
See, this team lost Fran Tarkenton, Mick Tingelhoff, Carl Eller, all in one season. So they're a young team coming around now.
Fourth quarter score, 28-17. The Rams over New Orleans. Dorsett and Brinson now, and this is Dorsett behind Brinson. Dorsett cuts back inside, breaks a couple of tackles, and gets enough for a Dallas first down. He looks almost unstoppable today.
As long as he is set up to take the tackle, he doesn't look like he's in danger of fumbling it. It's when he's just about to break for one of those long ones that he sort of swings the arm out a little bit. But that time he was in perfect control and looked very strong as he ran through a couple. What does that say? CBS, I read that, but...
From Killer and Kim.
Where's the DA range?
I don't know. Dorsett, 18 carries for 143 yards. Salvi goes in motion. Dorsett now in motion. And Dorsett down in the arms of big Mark Mullaney.
Good play by Matt Blair, number 59. He came across and peeled some interference down and sort of fouled up the flow. You're right behind Roger. The snap, the old power sweep. Look at this. That's all disturbed. Here comes Mullaney. Tell you, he is really agile for a guy 6'6", 255.
He is huge. I saw him walking through the lobby of the hotel last night.
The trouble is, they're such nice guys, too. You know they.
I wanted to speak to him, but I was afraid. 2nd and 12. All back. Blitz on. Billy Joe Dupree had it and dropped it. Staubach faked. Jeff Seaman back on the coverage. He faked one of the Minnesota rushers.
Let's see what happens. Dupree doesn't drop many passes. You can see the big rush and the blitz by Blair. But good throw, actually behind Dupree a little bit, and looked like he just hit him on the forearm instead of the hands. And how can you miss the hands? You know, they look like two suitors.
3rd down. 13 to go. 3 minutes exactly left to play. Clock stopped at the moment. Dallas leading by 10, 30-20. Pat Summerall with Tom Brookshire in Bloomington, Minnesota. From the shotgun, and the snap is good. So is the protection. Drew Pearson, his first one of the day, perfectly thrown from Staubach, lofted over the linebacker in front of Turner, and the first pass caught by a wide receiver for Dallas today.
And a dangerous throw by Roger, but well done. Look at the time he has from the shotgun to wait for Drew Pearson to run a deep inside pattern and then break it back to the sidelines a long way. That had to be a 3.5-second pattern. Well done.
First down for Dallas at the Minnesota 46. They'll just try to keep the ball now. Run the rest of the timeout. Just saw how much is left. Dorsett lines up now behind Laidlaw. And Tony gets the carry. Right straight ahead to about the 43. Harvey Martin over on the sideline with Dave Stalls, and there's Randy White.
Which one of the Cowboys that doesn't have his own radio or television show? Doesn't everybody on the team just about has their own show?
I don't think Randy White does.
Harvey Martin has one, and Henderson has one that they play. Hooray for Hollywood is the intro music, right?
Right.
Drive Time Doug, the PR man, has one. Doug Todd.
Drive Time Doug is some man.
Tex Schramm.
Doug Todd, that is.
Yes. Tex Schramm has his own show, right?
Landry has one.
Landry has one.
He and Frank Gleber pick the games every week. I don't know who's winning that contest. Here's Brinson breaking tackles. And Brinson near a first down for Dallas. Some of the crowd, in fact, many of the crowd now starting to file out. 2 minutes left to play. Dallas will go to 5-1. It would appear, and be tied with Philadelphia for the NFC East lead. 2 minutes left to play.
28-17 Rams.
5-17 over New Orleans now. Los Angeles would up its record to 4-2. Atlanta's already won. They are 3-3. They'll be out in Oakland next week.
When Dallas and the Eagles, my old team, get together, that's going to be a couple of good shootouts. And that's a little later on in the year that they have their confrontation.
Cowboys
They got to play each other
at
twice
the
yet.
Vikings 36.
Minnesota has the New York Jets next week. quarterback gives to Laidlaw. Laidlaw plunging straight ahead, protecting the football now. The Rams will be at Dallas next week. There are no weak sisters on that Dallas schedule.
There's just no team in the NFL now you can take for granted. If Tampa did that with the Giants, you know, they're eating at the drive-in tonight. You've got to prepare every Sunday like it's the last game of the season.
Everybody was saying that Tampa Bay had such an easy schedule from here on in. They've won the 5 straight and beaten some people they weren't supposed to beat. And now they up and lose to the Giants. Here's Tony Hill. His first pass reception of the day. Still on his feet, still running. Matt Blair finally gets him out of bounds. A minute and 12 seconds left to play.
You want to see some good wheels on a receiver? Watch number 80 run with this. Good call by Roger. Fakes inside, just lobs it. Just get it to number 80 and try to get out of his way. A high stepper from Stanford. And he's working now on his upper body strength, doing a lot of Nautilus action and all. And Paul Krause just got spun off of him. Now one of the big fellas comes along and swats him down.
By the way, that was Jim Cooper who got out there in front of him and threw that key block.
Jim's doing a good job at that tackle. He's played center, guard, left side, right side.
And he's found a home now. And right offensive tackle. 4 Irishmen in that offensive line. There's Laidlaw cutting back inside to about the 11. Tommy Hannon made the tackle. Clock continues to run with exactly a minute left to play, and the Vikings call a timeout. Minnesota has 1 timeout remaining. They'll probably call it after this play. Here's Dorsett cutting back to the inside. Doug Sutherland made the tackle, and the clock continues to run. Minnesota takes another timeout, and that's all they've got.
Got to be very careful, though, not to embarrass the defensive players that are on the field when you have a victory in hand. But points mean something later on should it come to a coin toss. But that defensive team, they're yelling out things like, okay, you guys, don't worry. One of these days it'll be on the other foot. You got to be very careful.
We're going to play again someday.
That's right.
Broadcast directed by Sandy Grossman. Associate producers Clarence Anderson. All of those guys, of course, do such a terrific job.
Bob Stenner brought us our health food dinner last night.
And he's been the producer today.
Lychee nuts and whole grain cereals.
That's what you had?
Yep.
I'm glad I was at the other end of the table.
How come it costs $1,000, right? Roger might want to rest a few minutes of a quarter or something and think about his family or something. Just go over and sit down, but he just likes to stay right on.
Oh, he said he thought about his family when he was in training camp. Final score, we just got Baltimore got their first victory today. They beat the New York Jets 10-8. Starting to get rid of the padding already. That was D.D. Lewis. And there might be 2 more plays. And there might even be a touchdown. There he is from Preston Pearson. Cowboys have gotten 4 rushing touchdowns today. 3 from Dorsett, and now 1 from Pearson. Watch it. Good run for Preston. He's run hard today.
First touchdown rushing for Pearson. Here's a fella that didn't even play collegiate football. Illinois was a good baseline jump shooter. All Big Ten. Makes a pretty good football player, doesn't he?
Clutch pass receiver. Who will ever forget that performance against the Rams a few years back in the championship game? Raphael Septien will try to make it Dallas 37-20. And does not. That kick would not have been good anyway. He kicked it low. Matt Blair plugged it, but it wouldn't have gotten high enough to get over the crossbar anyway. Los Angeles 35, New Orleans 17. Last touchdown from Pat Hayden to Ron Jesse, and we'd like to welcome those of you who saw that Ram victory to Metropolitan Stadium in Bloomington, Minnesota. Pat Summerall with Tom Brookshire, and the score here is 36-20.
There's Harvey Martin now. He's trying to bring Fitzgerald, who's been KO'd at least twice, bring him up to date on what time the charter leaves. Things like that, right?
That score we had on the screen just then was incorrect. It is 36-20, by the way. There it is. I had some problems with the score today. I had it wrong once. Scoreboard had it wrong once.
Well, there have been a few blocked chip shots, as they say, and a few things like that. Your kickers have made it very difficult.
No. Kickers will tell you, any kicker will tell you, there's no such thing as a chip shot. There's a foot shot there. The Vikings finally managed to fall on it. They have no timeouts left. They will have time for 2 or 3 plays.
Ron Yeri was trying to do a Pele imitation.
Yeri stopped it with his foot. Don't forget 60 minutes right after football. Real live whodunit.
Guy has a poisoned umbrella in that. This is true, right? It's real?
Well, I don't know.
Bona fide?
Right out of the pages of James Bond, it says. Is that true?
They say.
All takes place, that murder with a poisoned umbrella in broad daylight in the heart of London.
60 minutes.
Let's leave here. Let's run and see if we can get a chance to watch that. 51-35. That's the final. Here's Chuck Foreman being tackled by Harvey Martin and Guy Brown, I believe. Block runs.
A lot of supercharged people on that Dallas roster, and the thinness or the depth of a team is going to really count down the stretch. Bud Grant's team by November, if it's not nicked too much, might still be in this divisional race.
Clock running and Kramer taking his time. This one is in the L column. There's Thomas.
He told me his name is now Tomas Henderson. Tomas.
Oh, it is?
Yes.
Why?
I don't know. He doesn't like Hollywood anymore.
36-20. Dallas defeats Minnesota. Their record is 5-1. And so from Metropolitan Stadium in Bloomington, Minnesota, this is Pat Summerall saying goodbye for Tom Brookshire. The NFL on CBS is a presentation of CBS Sports.
Big day for Tony Dorsett, 146 yards, 3 touchdowns. Dallas beats Minnesota up in Bloomington, 36-20.